this has got to be one of the best looking cars of all time. Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, we're getting a very special drive in the 1984 BMW M635 CSI. Not an M6. We've actually driven an M6 on the channel of the E24 generation, but before North America and Japan got what we called the M6 with an S38, the rest of the world in Europe was driving the M635 CSI, an M88 powered rear-wheel drive, two-door, four-seat sporting GT car. This is really cool, and everything about it screams BMW from the past and screaming into the next generation. You can see so many cues from its forefathers that have just been perfected for its 80s glory, but also you can see pieces of it that carried on into the future, into the 8 series that came later in the 90s. So this car is like the bridge between past and future. And one of my favorite things about these Euro cars, aside from the style, the incredible bumpers, I mean, look at the wipers on the headlights, they're perfect, but the Euro cars get the M88. That's what powered the BMW M1. This is a slightly varied version of that, but when we got the M6 badged E24, we got the S38, which is a formidable, wonderful engine, but this M88 makes 282 horsepower, whereas the North American and Japanese cars with the S38 only made about 250 horsepower. So this was the faster and more authentic version of the top dog E24. Let's take a look around. Everything is so overbuilt and it feels glorious. This car is Arctic blue. It's beautiful in this color, and it carries on the interior as well with this blue leather interior. In the rear, you'll notice it almost looks like a different color back there. It's not. It's just because of the tint, the factory tint of these windows, which, by the way, these windows roll down. They don't pop out. They actually roll down, just like you would see later in the 8 series. Now, there's no middle seat back here, but these rear seats are actually quite comfortable. They're like buckets. They look fantastic. But this is what I mean when I say it carries over some legacy from the past, because these are the type of rear seats you would have seen on like a 3.0 CSI. But let's get under the hood, because that's actually really important. The coolest thing about this hood is the hood release. It's not just a pull, it actually is a lever. So it stays out and then you secure it by pushing it back in after. So under here, this is the real party trick of these Euro cars. The M88. I love these engines. And we just got a chance to drive an M88 powered Dynon M5, that E28 with the turbo, and that was an absolute beast. This naturally aspirated. You've got individual throttle bodies going across this gorgeous inline 6, and I just like that you can see all the linkages for the throttle and stuff. It's fantastic. Down here, you've got all of your ignition wires, which is fun. Just art under here. I mean, you could just open this hood at a car show and people are going to be happy to see it. Now, one of the things that you can easily do to identify an M88 versus an S38, look at where this oil fill cap is. If it's in here between these cylinders, you've got an M88. But if it's over here on the timing cover, that's an S38. Very quick. They also look a little different because the valve covers are different. They say different things. But either way, this is just one of the best sounding inline 6s in the game. Down here, you've got badging to let you know it is in fact an M635 CSI. Down here, the color, BMW Arctic's Blau Metallic. Around back, you have this gorgeous lip spoiler that's rubber. You can see, I mean, this car is 1984, but it's held up really well. There's a little bit of drying and cracking in here, but nothing to cause concern. I mean, this has clearly been babied. Here, you've even got a little part number to let you know it's authentic BMW. That's the kind of stuff that Porsche nerds geek out about on their whale tails, on their turbo tails, on their 930s and 911s, because that kind of rubber, tough to find later on because it had to survive. This one has a super sprint exhaust. I'd say center, but it's a little off center, but that's just the style. It's what they did. And back here, loads of cargo space. We've got a car cover and a bunch of other junk in here, but you do have, like in typical BMW fashion, your toolkit, which is a little brown. So I suppose at one point in this car's life that may have been a little damp. But honestly, from what I've seen, this car is incredibly clean. So that actually surprises me a bit, because otherwise it seems formidably perfect. I love how every angle of this car highlights a different design style. This is the shark nose car, but from the back, you can just see how massive this trapezoidal rear glass is. It's designed for vision, it's designed for light. They clearly were having drivers in mind when they designed this, and these are the BMW days I miss the most. In the front, probably my favorite design feature of the car, other than just all the shapes and how everything, if you look at the profile, the way it juts out and then back in and then back out and then back in and then back out. There's so many steps to this, but look at these on the front bumper. These little, I don't know, speed holes? Are they designed for cooling maybe? It's just every detail on this car looks like it was designed by somebody who absolutely cared. Even the little fender flares are perfection on this M635i. So anyway, let's get out and drive it because none of it matters. We just got to hear this thing. It's a blast, and I'm very excited to share it with you. I would put these windows down, but sometimes it's inadvisable to test the waters. I did put them down a little bit earlier at the shop in Bond Group, and they moved a little slow, but I decided, you know what, just in case these motors fail, I don't want to be the one that does it. So let's just be gentle and know that they move down, but not test the waters too much. All right. This doesn't love a hot start, so we are going to experience probably a long crank, but it will just fire up. There she goes. On the cold start, this thing starts like legitimately immediately. Like the key is on and boom, it's done. Oh, yes. So you've got all your check things down here. This is how you can absolutely tell it's a Euro car because you've got the Warnblinker. Lovely. And then all your check controls. So that's your brake lights, your, I don't know, my German's bad. Motor oil, I think I understand that one. Kühlwasser, Waschwasser. That's obviously your water, your motor oil, and your headlight or windshield washer fluid. Abblendlicht. Okay, I'm done trying German right now. I just want to go drive. I'm getting over a cold, and this is the perfect car to make me feel happy. Listen to this rumble. The bassy rumble of a BMW Inline 6. This is one of the things that got me into cars. My neighbor across the street owned an E21, a 323, I believe, and I was obsessed with the way that car sounded. It wasn't a big car, it was a little car, much shorter than this, and every time it started, look at this fire extinguisher, every time it started, there was no mistaking that it was running. You could hear it, it permeated the walls of my house in my little neighborhood. I loved it. Got a 5-speed gearbox. I like how these cars also have coolant gauges that actually work. For example, this one, it's reading a little bit over the middle mark. You're gonna watch that come down in a hurry as we just drive, get a little air through it. Most oil temp and water temp gauges today are kind of lying to you. They basically get into a position and then they stay there even though the temperature is changing. They don't want you to freak out. So they stay in the middle and they only kind of move when things are bad, when things are very wrong. Right back to center. I'm gonna move this seat back just a touch. There we go. The fuel gauge as well. What I like about European fuel gauges, a lot of times they will put how many liters it is. So it's not just saying full or empty, it's actually saying 70 liters. So I know that 80 liters is like 21.4 gallons. I only know that because of the Speedster we drove the other day with a big old fuel tank. Getting a little bit of drizzle. It's okay. Put our parking lights on. Silky smooth. The classic red illumination on the dashboard brings back a lot of memories, and very similar to that of my E39 M5. One thing that I can only tell you that you cannot see or feel or experience is the smell of this car. There has never been a BMW that smelled more like a BMW that I have ever been in. I wish I could bottle this scent and sell it to you. What a business opportunity that would be, but my God, I opened the door to this and I just could not believe it. It smelled perfect. It was exactly what I expected, but forgot. Squeaky brake pedal. Not totally sure what's happening here. Something looks very out of alignment and terribly wrong with the front end of that Volvo. So I feel like that front left wheel might be like falling off. But while we avoid that catastrophe, let's talk about this engine. Because you've got these individual throttle bodies, like all M engines going on later, it has such sharp and precise and immediate throttle response. You're not waiting for one throttle body to open to feed all 6 cylinders. It's just right there, evenly spaced, equal access for every cylinder to get the air it needs to move this thing down the road. And it's so refreshing to get into something like this. Yeah, something's like catastrophically wrong with this car, but this is a really tricky spot that you're pulling over in, but we'll get around it. Immediate response. Little drizzle, great wipers. It was not supposed to rain today, but alas, here we are. The best thing about these inline sixes is, besides the sound and the response, it's that they're incredibly smooth and they pull from the bottom to the top. There's reasonable torque down low. They're perfect and juicy and incredible in the middle. But then somewhere around 4,500 RPM, they really just come alive and everything changes and becomes a beast, a little race engine. Something wildly impressive about this car is its turning radius. Look at this. That's outrageous. what's funny is back in the day when this was new, this would have been like a big car. It probably would have even been seen as heavy. But it feels pretty light on its feet today. Not only that, but it's really connected. I guess we can use that road again, but I think we'll take the safer path for now. So we're gonna take our time here. Thank you for respecting your elders. Little dog. Oh, look at that E38. Man, this is the car. This is one of those cars that set off the alarms for everybody to say, wait a minute, I need a BMW. The design language was fluid and it made sense across a whole fleet of different cars. Whether it was a little 323 E21 or this E24, it didn't matter. They looked correct. I really like this Super Sprint exhaust too. It's not too loud, it's not too bassy. If you only amplify that low bassy tone, it can get pretty intrusive, but this actually really sounds fantastic, and it retains the originality of the sound of a car. Oh yes, that's motoring. We got a little light here to tell us to check our brake light. So maybe we do have a tail light malfunctioning. Maybe there's an old bulb that needs a replacement. Very cool though to get that. And I got a little check warning up there that said, "Hey, look at this," which is nice because I don't have to worry. I know it's there. Man, that's honest power. And it has the character of a very race-inspired engine. And maybe you're buying a car like this because of the style, because of how it looks, but it's also completely valid. Even if you hated every body panel on this car, which I can't imagine is possible, you would still want this car for this M88. And I don't know, maybe I'm a snob, but I think I prefer the M88 to the S38. It feels more raw and legit, and it doesn't feel like it's been neutered at all. do enjoy the color of the tint on the side glass. It even just looks premium. It's like putting on a pair of Zeiss sunglasses. This is one of my new favorite BMWs. Oh, it sounds so good. Okay, this gearbox. It's very BMW in the sense that it's not the most impressive feeling gearbox. It's effective and it's easy to find your gear and there's no problems there, but it is not a grip it and rip it kind of gearbox, nor have really any BMWs ever been that. That's not the style. If you're looking to do the drag racing, slamming 1.2s and all that stuff, go buy yourself an American car. Get yourself something with a Tremec. This will not provide that experience for you. And it's more like once you get moving, it's a road course car. Still has that sort of classic rubbery BMW feel, but that's heritage, baby. They've done that for years. So even if you've driven an E30 or an E39 or an E34, like, you'll kind of get an idea of what this would feel like. Although it isn't a particularly long throw. It's a shorter throw than my E39, I think. Well, maybe not. Okay, I might be lying about that. Maybe a hint shorter. These were the days when they really cared about quality and kind of going over the top. This would have been an expensive car, and they would have been competing with the likes of Mercedes-Benz in their absolute heyday. I mean, you got to remember, like, today we've got really expensive cars out there, so it's not that uncommon to see a Bentley Continental GT or something. They sell lots of them. They sell thousands of them. I mean, later on, let's say 1998, for example, is the only number I have in my head, but Bentley only sold like 413 cars globally in 1998. So you got to remember, going back into the 80s, the top tier premium cars would have been things like BMWs and Mercedes-Benz's. If you saw a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce, it was like a dignitary. It was somebody ridiculously opulent, important, over-the-top royalty or Hollywood royalty. This is the kind of car that could set you apart in the parking lot at work to say, like, hey, I got the bonus, baby. Like, that's what this meant. This was high-end stuff. Today, BMW, still a high-end brand for sure, but kind of everybody has one. You know, it wasn't that common to see a neighborhood full of BMWs, a suburban neighborhood at least, like a middle-class suburban neighborhood. Now that's pretty normal. It's not crazy for somebody to have a 3 Series or even a 6 Series. But back then, back in this time, this car was a massive statement, and it would have been the car that you would have been, I gotta find the right direction. We figured it out. It would have been the car that you would have been excited to valet somewhere to show, like, look, I made it. And frankly, I think the Euro cars are simply better, dare I say. I know people don't even like it when I call an 88 or an 89 E24 with an S38 and M6. They'll say there are no M6s. People will die on that hill. They're like, I know they called it that, but it isn't. And it is kind of just a rebadged M635 CSI. That's just a mouthful. And from a marketing perspective, I think BMW was onto something that made a lot more sense. But for me, if I was to have an imported German of this time period, I think this is the car. It's so comfortable. There's incredible seats. I love the windows. I love how that glass retracts. I love having a sunroof. It's modern enough that you can jump in and drive it kind of anywhere. There's plenty of indie shops that know how to work on this and actually keep it running and preserved. But it's old enough that it provides the tactility, the sounds, the motoring heritage of what at least brought me into the fold and made me want to be a car enthusiast, brought me into car culture. So anyway, I'm gonna go bring this gorgeous example back to Bond Group. Look, even these little guys, there's so much attention to detail. Look how cute these little vents are. There's just so much little stuff in this car that I absolutely adore. Thanks to Bond Group for tossing me the keys to this gorgeous thing. Thank you guys for keeping this channel alive. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, make a comment if you're interested, got questions, or want to correct something dumb that I said, or tell me something I didn't say. I don't need to tell you to do that. You'll tell me regardless. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.